low-key, sometimes I look back on how my loneliness made my standards in the people around me so fucking low, and sometimes I feel genuinely embarrassed, you know? And a lot of people will never understand the levels of loneliness that I have experienced. Like, second year somewhere I was 14, as if you like listen to me like long enough, you know, this was like the worst mental health period of my life that I've ever had. And during this, I I started to realize my mum was a toxic piece of shit. I started avoiding her. And what I did is I absolutely swapped my sleep schedule. So I was awake during the night and I slept the whole of the day. And due to this further killed my social life. But then all these traumatic memories came back in. So even if someone had invited me to something, I wasn't going to show up to it, really, to be honest with you, because I was like, oh, I'm in my healing arc, I need to be mom myself, which is basically a glorified way of self-isolation. And I'd fucked up my sleep schedule, so I wasn't going to get up at any regular hours for no one. To be fair, I did do a daily call with someone, and I doubt she knows about this, but at the same time, my channel got leaked around the YouTube, so hey, if you know who you are, Herbie, you know who you are. Love you, girl. You know, but... And so that was like the loneliest I've ever felt in my entire life. And the thing is, loneliness is the type of thing that's like kills you slowly but surely. Because it's the type of thing where it's like, it's slowly going to change how you treat people, how you treat yourself, how much you take care of yourself, the type of people you allow into your life, the behaviors that you accept. And being lonely is fucking brutal, you know. And another thing is, because of the loneliness I felt, it led me to being easily manipulated about toxic people who were lonely. You know, a lot of people always were a lot of old friendships or whatever, tugging on my heartstrings of how lonely they are, how they lost all their friends and all this and all that and all that. And the reality is, those people were lonely because they were toxic. And people had understood that and cut them off. You know, but I do occasionally like creating this codependent relationship that I've had with my mother, and I do like trying to save people, even though this is a habit I'm trying to grow out of, because the only genuine friendships I have is with fellow avoidance / security attached people. Me and the anxiously attached, if you've heard me long enough, it never goes good, because then they make me either go avoidance central or I start acting anxiously attached. And when I act anxiously attached, it ain't good. That shit ain't good. No, that ain't fucking good, you know. But I'm not ashamed of my previous actions, and I'm not ashamed of my low self-esteem, and I'm not ashamed of the loneliness I felt. It makes me so fucking sad, you know, because I wouldn't consider myself the best person now. I wouldn't consider myself, necessarily speaking, a bad person, but I'm not a good person either. You know, how I view the person I am today is, I'm just what most people should be. You know, like, I don't want to get off any ego trip, oh, I'm great, I do this, I do that, I've done this for people, because the shit I do, it should be common courtesy and common etiquette, and just because it isn't doesn't mean it isn't the bare minimum. You know, like, my Shayla, as I call her, it's a girl I'm really close to, like, her phone had broke, and then she was waiting till Christmas for her parents to buy her another phone. And then I had this shitty iPhone 7 where the battery at the back nearly blew up. But I had lent that to her, and I was like, listen, keep it till your new phone comes. And then when I had asked, like, sometimes I've asked her, do you actually think I'm a good friend and stuff like that, she was like, Nisha, no one, like, And she's like, you did that for me. And I said to her, but that's nothing. I wasn't using it anyway. And then she said, Nisha, you went out of your way. You didn't have to do that. And that's why you're a good friend. You know? And I like when I can do stuff like that. To be honest, I completely forgot about it, that I even did that till like the conversation. That conversation came up. Because it was something that it meant so little to me, but it meant a lot to her, because it's actually showing like, oh fuck it, you know. Because like obviously not having a phone in this modern society is a bit really fucking depressing. You know, and also you kind of just need a phone to text people and all that, you know. Yeah. Generally. But whew, even with how low my standards used to be, I actually did develop good friendships, you know. And that's something I'm really grateful to. I have some of the best friendships I have today. Like these are the actual solid people who I can count on. But it also is the thing where I'm actually friends with adults now, because obviously I'm an adult, you know. So I suppose the thing is, I was like 14, 15, looking for good friendships and trying to give my best as a friend, but I was like friends with fellow kids because I was a kid, you know. And I don't, you know, I definitely should have befriended better people, but then at the same time, I wouldn't have changed anything about my past, because I'm very happy with the person I am today, you know. So my low self-esteem, my loneliness, all my trauma, it has led me to being the best version of myself in this possible moment, you know. And no one would think like I do, and no one would have the morals and ethics and just act the way I am and like do this type of actions towards other people if they came from a good background, you know. Like sometimes you just talk to someone and you just know, yeah, they've been through some shit but they've grown past it, you know. And I've definitely been through a lot of shit, but I feel like now that I've escaped from it or whatever, I obviously am still being affected by it, but it isn't as prevalent and prominent on my mind as it used to be, you know. And I can finally say, I've finally learned how to live and not to survive. And that is something I'm so fucking grateful for, you know. And I'm gonna leave it here, but yeah.